Spider-Man races against a ticking clock to save Mary Jane, but the world is after him. What happens when he matches up with Captain America? The story begins in another universe, where Mary Jane and Spider-Man are trapped. They're running for their lives from an ancient-looking Mayan monster in a post-apocalyptic New York City. Spider-Man tries to fight the monster while MJ runs away, but takes a hit to the stomach and collapses to the ground. Keep running! MJ crashes into a mysterious figure, a hooded man holding a massive gun. The man gently pushes MJ behind him and fires at the monster. A massive blast of energy emerges from the gun, going straight at the monster's mouth and exploding it from the inside. These things aren't so scary. You just have to disrupt their symbology. Where are we? Right where the emissary wants you, and that's a big problem. The man pulls off his mask, a nondescript man with a dark beard and glasses. Paul takes MJ and Peter to a safer place. This is my home. Don't touch anything. We'll be safe here? I didn't say that. Peter is amazed at the various totemic symbols strewn all around the room. The tech here, is it based on them? The technology is them. According to Peter, the man who sent him and MJ to this alternate universe was covered with those symbols, Dr. Rabin. Paul used to work with Rabin, helping him unlock powers of a new quantum symbology. They were attempting to manipulate information with symbology, and with that information, manipulate reality. Paul and Dr. Rabin soon realized that their mathematical glyphs began to resemble hieroglyphs of ancient cultures. We wondered if they had wielded this power before us. Had they? Maybe, but they were smart enough to forbid it. We were not. That technology would have given them the ability to create matter, achieve perpetual motion, the cheat code to reality. But they soon began to realize that they were simply communicating with higher beings, gods. Peter notices some spider-based technology. The tech resembles the watches used by the Spider-Verse to cross the multiverse, but Paul couldn't get it to work. Mind if I take a look? Elsewhere, a silhouette draws a figure in the dirt as he chants in a foreign language. Suddenly, a bowl of water appears from nothingness. He uses it to clean his face. Towering behind him is the Mayan god Webb, a horrifying all-white skeleton creature. Webb expresses his frustrations at the man's inability to summon the god via sacrifice. You wanted my holy power, but you will die without even seeing my face. Wrong, Webb. I've come to repair our bond. I've come with a sacrifice and the Sunblood. Back at Paul's safe house, Peter asks Paul if he's really never heard of the Web of Life and Destiny. This is almost trying to be a dimensional travel watch. It'll take some tinkering, but Peter can calibrate it correctly to send just one of them home. Meanwhile, Paul is still confused at the concept of the multiverse. There's still a lot about this situation that doesn't make sense, like what you're doing here. Paul reveals that he was a guinea pig for the sadistic Rabin. He was sent here long ago to deliver a message for Webb. MJ already knows Rabin's plan. He wants to make their Earth on 616 just like this one, in ruin. Paul reveals that the last time Spider-Man stopped Rabin, Spidey became a symbol of his defeat. That's why you can't be here. To finish the ceremony, they must first kill Spider-Man. Spidey breaks the tension with good news. He fixed the device. He can get them back to their universe. At that very moment, Webb bursts into the safe house, calling Peter by the name Sunblood. Paul protects MJ from debris and rushes her out of the building, while Spidey promises to give them some time. Spidey throws some rubble in front of Webb, hoping to keep him at bay. You robbed me of my sacrifice, Sunblood, but you're only a painting in a cave. I am a god of scab and bone. I will break time to kill you. Spidey urges MJ and Paul to run for it, but Paul utters the ominous, "He already beat you." Webb continues his monologue as he creates portals around Spider-Man, reaching through the hole and grabbing Spidey's head with his massive hands. But suddenly, a dozen glowing blue tendrils reach out from the other direction, grabbing onto Spidey's arms and pulling him away from Webb's grasp. It's Paul, holding the well-named octopus gun. What are you doing? It confuses your symbology. Bought us some time. As Paul pulls Spidey away from danger, Paul urges Spider-Man to use the transporting device and get back home. No, we're sending MJ. If you die, there's nothing holding them back. Spider-Man's in no mood to argue. He holds Paul by the collar and hands MJ the device. New York on Earth 616 is just a click away. Another portal emerges. Spider-Man stands ready for a fight as the other two flee. Webb's hand shoots through the portal, decking him in the face and tearing his costume as skull-laden tendrils wrap around his neck. What are you? The monster bursts through the rubble, beating Peter senseless and gripping his throat. I am the god of mischief and death. Scar and Morrow, I am the blackness of night, the white rage of your sun, and I am here to take everything you are. Enough! Mary Jane leaps to Peter's rescue, jumping between the Mayan god and her love. What are you doing? Sorry, Tiger. He can't have you. MJ moves her hand, revealing she stuck the device onto his stomach. Peter screams in objection, but it's too late. A portal emerges beneath them. Webb and Peter fall toward another dimension together, or at least half of Webb. The god is cut clean down the middle, half of him falling through the portal, half still towering over Paul and MJ. Did I cut a god in half? Yes, you did. And gods don't die gentle. Smoke is emerging from the still standing half Webb, ready to explode. Paul quickly shoves the rest of the god through the portal, where it lands in a massive explosion in Pennsylvania of Earth 616. Soon following is Peter, who struggles to make a web parachute to slow his descent. Peter strips his Spider-Man outfit, not willing to waste a second answering any questions to the oncoming emergency vehicles. No time, gotta move. Peter buries his costume as quickly as possible, sprinting towards the city. Find a way to bring her back. Clad in only his underwear, he tries to sprint down a hill, but his beat-up body gives out on him. He lies in the grass for a moment, almost like I fought a god. Raven. MJ's there with Raven. Gotta move. Next we see him, Peter's getting off a bus in New York City. He doesn't know how to steal a car, but he does know how to steal some clothes. I can feel guilty later. Gotta help. As Peter walks out of the train station, we see his face, swollen and grotesque from his hand-to-hand clash with a god. He overhears a couple guys talking about spring training starting this week. Weird. Spring training started last week. Oh no. Let me see that paper. What day is it? The guys aren't too keen on giving a stranger their newspaper, so Peter sprints to Aunt May's. He bursts through the door. Peter, are you okay? Peter ignores her worry about his face and asks what day it is. Thursday. No, when's the last time we talked? Yesterday, remember? Impossible. Peter's been gone at least a week, but another voice from the apartment interrupts his thoughts. You're scaring your aunt. Norman Osborn, the former Green Goblin's been rehabilitated, but he should not be in May's apartment. Norman came to check on Peter. He figured reaching out directly would upset Peter, so he came to May. Get out! I'd rather not. Not until I know you're okay. Norman places his hand on Peter's shoulder. Pete doesn't like that. He throws Norman through the door, slamming him into a wall. I don't have time for your games. Norman notices the transporting device poking out of Peter's front pocket. May approaches Peter, begging him to stop. Peter bolts out of the building, reminded of the task at hand. He doesn't have time, and it seems time works differently here. 1 hour could be a week or a month for Mary Jane. Peter rushes to his apartment to grab a spare suit, ignoring his roommate, Randy Robertson, who's concerned about Peter's appearance. Get across town, get to the Baxter Building, get to Reed. Spider-Man's scaling the Baxter Building, trying to get to his old friend and brilliant scientist, Mr. Fantastic. No time to knock. Some kind of defense system, a bunch of octopus-like arms, emerges from a window and pulls Peter in. Probably should have knocked. Dude, you gotta slow down. It's the Human Torch and the Thing, standing in front of a restrained Peter and inspecting his transporting device. That's exactly what I'm telling you. I can't. Peter gives the basics, talking as fast as he can. Thing agrees to let him go, telling the computer to add him to the safe list. Where's Reed? Reed is on Tarnax helping the Skrulls. No use to Peter. Then I need his lab. Human Torch and Thing say they can't let him in there. At least, not until Cap arrives. What did you say? The feds found Peter's costume, buried at the site of the massive explosion in Pennsylvania. They need to clear a few things up before they let him in Reed's lab. What kinds of things? Run some tests. Make sure you're who you say you are, our Spider-Man. Shouldn't take long. What if I don't want to wait? We're supposed to make you wait. Peter pulls down his mask, ready to fight anyone to save MJ. I appreciate your honesty. Spidey bursts out of the Baxter Building, chastising himself for thoughtlessly leaving the costume as evidence. His mind races, thinking of what other labs he can use. Above him, he hears helicopters. Do I stop? Explain myself? How long does that take? A day? A week? He lands in an alleyway. There's no time. As he descends the wall, he strips himself of his costume as quickly as possible. Hi, Peter. Tough day? It's Captain America, dressed in full uniform and beaming that all-American smile. You could say that. I'm here to help. Peter begins to rattle off what he needs. Black Panther's lab, Iron Man's lab, maybe both. We can talk about that, but I've got half of the FBI trying to designate Spider-Man as an enemy of the state. The FBI won't do anything until Cap approves, which he won't. Cap knows he's innocent, but Peter needs to talk to the FBI. Shouldn't take longer than a day to square away. Maybe 2. That's disappointing. Peter quickly jabs Captain America's jaw, flooring him. Cap's lip begins to bleed as he levels with Peter. I know that look, Peter. You're a soldier going through it. Let me help you. I don't have time. Peter throws another punch at Cap, but Cap sees that coming and raises his shield. But Peter saw that coming and changes his fist to an open hand right before impact. His sticky fingers grasp the shield, which he yanks out of Cap's grasp and bashes into Cap's face. Before Captain America can stand back up, Peter's gone. Peter walks through the street, fighting the urge to feel bad about beating up Cap, but he doesn't have time. However, he doesn't have a lot of hiding places either, considering Captain America knows Peter Parker so well. That's not true. One place springs to mind. Peter scales a wall, bursts through the window. This can't possibly be good. Don't talk. Listen, you said you wanted to help? Help me. We see who Peter's come to for help. A genius scientist who Cap wouldn't dream Peter would turn to. Norman Osborn.